this is Chef Ellen. It's mid-June, and in New England, that's greens time. So we have an abundance of greens available. We have fresh spinach and arugula. We have kale, peas, fresh English peas, which are some of my favorites. And today I'm going to show you how to make a pea pesto. So I'm going to be using some beautiful fresh pea greens and fresh peas, and also, believe it or not, a radish leaf pesto. These are fresh radish leaves, and most people throw these away, but today we're going to make a wonderful peppery pesto from them. So let's get going. You might think of pesto as using basil, which is pretty much your classic pesto. That classic pesto would include basil, olive oil, garlic, cheese, like a hard cheese, either say a Parmesan or a Pecorino Romano, and usually you would use some nuts, and the classic nut is this pine nut. However, there are many other choices and many other, as I mentioned, many other different kinds of pesto. One of my favorites is cilantro pesto. But if you don't have pine nuts on hand, maybe you have pecans, or maybe you have pistachios. I love pistachio in pesto. And if you have children or family members who can't handle nuts, you can use seeds very easily. We've got sunflower seeds and pumpkin seeds. So there's really a lot of variety in what you can do with a pesto, and the trick is just play with it, you know? The other ingredient that you might want to put in your pesto, which I love to put in pesto, is lemon. And I've zested a lemon for one of these recipes. And what I like about lemon is that it adds a brightness to the pesto, and it brings out kind of this really nice flavors of the ingredients. And the other little tricky thing about lemon, especially with a basil pesto, because basil has a tendency to get dark, but if you put some lemon in it, it won't get dark, which is really terrific. The other good thing about pesto is that you can freeze it. So I make batches of the stuff during the summer, and I freeze it in small containers, even sometimes those little plastic disposable ones you get, in takeout containers. And then I have a small amount to add to a sauce or a dressing or, pasta, whatever works. So I wanted to show you my favorite way to get the juice out of a lemon. I've already taken the zest off of it, which makes it a lot easier. And I rolled my lemon on my cutting board to break the membranes in there. This is called a reamer. This is a really handy device. Comes in different shapes. I've seen them in metal. This is wooden. And you just twist it around inside your lemon, and the juice comes out so easily. I've got lemon juice really quickly and very simply. If there are any seeds in there, you can take a spoon and just scoop them out. And now it's ready to go. First things first, you need to wash your ingredients. Peas come in pods, so those are pretty washed already because they've been in the pod. But in the case of pea tendrils and radish leaves, and especially this parsley that I'm working with today, I didn't talk about parsley, but parsley is a nice little filler part to kind of add a little flavor, but it also kind of helps you stretch your ingredients a little bit if you need to. So today I want to show you that this is a really important piece of equipment in my kitchen. This is a salad spinner. Very simple. They come in lots of different styles. Swish it around in the water, drain it, and then this one you just push down, and it by centrifugal force throws out the water and it cleans your greens. This parsley had a lot of sand in it, and you don't want sand in your pesto, so make sure all of your ingredients are really clean and fresh. We're going to start with our pea pesto today. So here are my pea greens, or pea shoots, and we're going to take 2 large handfuls of that. They're a little messy. here. I've got a full cup of peas. I'm gonna tuck those in. Scatter them around. Half a cup of sunflower seeds. So this is for anybody with a nut allergy. I've got a clove of garlic. Just gonna cut that up. And we're gonna put a half a cup of olive oil, but I'm gonna start with a little bit less than a half a cup in the food processor. Okay, a little bit of salt. It's my handy dandy salt. I'm not measuring it. I'm just gonna do it by taste. A good sized pinch of salt is about a half teaspoon. So we're going to take our top here and do a quick pulse and see what happens. I'm opening the top. I'm gonna scrape it down a little bit. So gorgeous. Ooh, it smells so good. I think I'm gonna put a little bit more of my olive oil in to just get it a little bit creamier texture. Again. See how that looks. So this has a little bit of a coarse texture to it because peas are, you know, a little bit coarser and harder than, say, a green. But I think it's really nice, and it'll work really beautifully on bread as a hors d'oeuvre. So we're gonna taste that a little later, and we're gonna go on to our next one. Now we're gonna make our radish leaf pesto. So we've got our wonderful radish leaves. I'm gonna take 2 large handfuls, stuff them in there. I've got some of the stems as well, because frankly they taste the same as the leaf. Get more. Cheat. I'm gonna take a little bit more. Okay, and I'm gonna put a little bit of parsley in there just for fun, to add a little interest in our pesto. So I'm just stuffing all this into my ancient food processor. And we've got pine nuts. You could easily substitute, as I mentioned before, pecans or pistachios, but we'll go a little traditional this time. I've got some grated parm here. You could use pecorino romano if you want. This is 1 ounce. And I've got my lemon's juice and zest. I'm gonna add that in there. And this recipe doesn't call for very much olive oil. You could always add more if you want. It's just 2 tablespoons. I'm just gonna pour it in there. These recipes are so flexible. You can definitely put more if you want, or less. You could use an avocado oil here. You could use a sunflower oil, but I like the flavor of the olive oil. This is a very green olive oil, an extra virgin olive oil. It has a nice peppery flavor to it, and I think it adds to the radish leaf. And again, I'm gonna take some couple pinches of salt here, and we'll add a little pepper. And again, the best thing to do is to do a little bit at a time. Once you've got that salt and pepper in and all those ingredients, you can't take them out. So the best thing to do is to put them in, mix it up, and taste. Put our top on, and away we go. Okay, I'm going to stop it in the middle. I got a leaf that didn't feel like going down, so I'm gonna put that, scrape everything down again. And I think I'm gonna put a little bit more olive oil. I keep my olive oil that I use at the stove in this really handy squeeze bottle. So I'm just gonna squeeze another tablespoon in there. Mix it up. Oh, I I realized I forgot our garlic, so we'll add those. All right, let's see how it looks. So we have a very nice pesto, so a slightly different color than the other one. And we're gonna try it. So here are the results of our 2 pestos. This is the pea and pea tendril pesto and our radish leaf pesto. They're very delicious. Pair it with a nice piece of bread or baguette or cracker. Lovely addition to an hors d'oeuvre platter, whatever works for you. You could even throw these into a salad dressing. Just remember, this stuff is super flexible. You can mix and match ingredients. Don't go out and buy anything special. Use what you have on hand, and it's gonna turn out really well. This is Chef Ellen saying goodbye till next time. Thanks for joining me. Here are the results of our pesto head-off duo. Pesto duo.
Do it again. But that was funny.
Stop laughing.